Hi, this is Giuseppe, and I wanted to do a Let's Play with a mod nation I've been working on. The mod nation is called Lodum Viral Death. It's based on a sort of infestation and zombie apocalypse and Zerg-style, humans getting infected and things like that. So there's a lot of sort of horrific monsters as part of the nation's recruitable troops, and they tend to be low protection, organic, not very good at doing damage, but there's a lot of them, and they're easy to recruit. None of the artwork for this is mine. I commissioned someone to do it. If you're interested, she's really good, professional, and very reasonably priced. And I'm super happy with all the artwork that she's done for me. And she's kind of gotten all the kinks out of the system, because we had to work through, how to do Dominion sprites, which are, have their own issues as far as how big they need to be and how good they'll look in the game depending on how they're laid out. So this is the banner up here, upper right, Lodum Viral Death. Let's go ahead and get a game started. So I'm going to go with the island, which is a nice map for 2 players. And we're not going to go through an entire game, but just want to give you a feel for how the nation looks. So we'll just random up our enemy, and we're going to pick ourselves. This is a late A's nation. I thought it went really well with the Ashen Empire and the insanity of the Rylith Dreamland. So, yeah, another nation of craziness. And this is Lodum. This is fixed in the release. I've got Windows return values. And in particular, I tried to make the heroes actually powerful enough that getting one is like getting a 30 to 40 gem summon, which can be quite powerful earlier on in the game. So we've got 3 pretender gods to choose from that are nation thematic. I have all the default pretender gods in there that you can't get rid of, as well as ones that I thought were appropriate, like the Manticore, Father of Serpents, Mother of Serpents. That's not right. That is supposed to be the Nature Serpent, so I'll have to fix that. I recently removed a bunch of dependencies that I had on Conceptual Balance mod, and so this mod will just stand alone. What I was doing before was depending on those, on having Conceptual Balance mod loaded, so a few kinks I still need to work out, but here we have the Allspawn. The game sort of, or the nation sort of revolves around this guy. He's the source of all the awfulness. He's got some strong paths. Very difficult to get new paths. He's extremely low protection, lots of hit points, has the same rate of regen that everyone else does in the nation. That actually might be a little bit higher. I'll have to look into that. No defense, high strength, poison cloud, immortal. The idea being that he'll just regrow himself if he dies. And awe, because he's just enormous and horrible to look at. Despite all these facts, he can still be killed in melee, depending on especially by sacred troops. So he is pretty good. And again, if you pick him as a god, he lacks hand slots or anything like that. So that is a detractor if you want to use him to boost. But he's got really good starting paths, probably the best in the game, so we'll have to see if that needs to get changed. But he does cost 50 points to start with, and he is an immobile pretender, whereas the Oracle and the Fountain of Blood. Now, I believe in CBM, these guys actually cost 25, and normally I balance everything against CBM, because I think that's a really great mod. Now, Kovis, Necromancer and Thone. Kovis is a god that he's a necromancer that took over the Allspawn and dominated him, and this is sort of the Kovis after he's dominated the Allspawn for a long time and has sort of become one with the Allspawn. So even though he was in charge for a while, now he's sort of the same being with it. And here we can see his throne that he's in is sort of grown into him. So he's got tentacle attacks, very low protection, but his defense skill is really easy to boost. If you give him some shields, I believe he doesn't lose the tentacle attacks, so he can be a really effective expansion commander as long as you're willing to give him some gear. He regenerates, has fear, all that good stuff. Oh, all the Lodum troops are susceptible to fire, which can be a real pain in the ass. I think I'm going to get rid of that eat, need not eat. But this is Kovus. He's sort of a mid-range, expandy, good magic god. And then this is Kovus, Necromancer Ascendant. So this is Kovus after he's taken over the Allspawn, but before he's become corrupted to the point where he's in that organic throne. We can see his pretty good magic pass. He's a Rainbow Pretender with his cheap to get access to other paths. He's got a crazy little weapon here, but it's not really, I mean, he's not a combat pretender by any stretch of the imagination. He's got a touch of Shattered Soul, which can make him difficult to use, and that's supposed to, you know, be part of the fact that he's just taken over this Allspawn, this great beast, and he's trying to keep from going crazy. So I'm gonna pick Kovus Necromancer Ascendant because I love Rainbow Mages. And I was really happy with this nation to be able to provide a sort of one of each type of the pretenders. Let's go a little bit more astral here. In fact, we'll get Bless. Actually, we'll do the Allspawn Imprisoned and get a Bless, just so that we can get a little bit of regeneration. Let's see. We'll need to raise our Dominion. Order's very good. Sloth is almost free scales in this nation. I'm going to take Luck because the heroes are so powerful. And I think this looks actually pretty good. So I've got Luck 3, which will give me, I think, a 9% chance each turn for a hero to show up. Something like that. It's pretty high. Some Magic for research. And Order 3 and Sloth 3. What else? And I've got a Twist Fate Bless for my 2 sacred units. So let's go ahead and pick this guy. And we'll just call him Fred. Fred the Allspawn. Normal conditions. So we start out with a Vile Stalker, which is an assassin scout guy that you get. One of the things I wanted to do with this nation was create a dynamic where your recruitable assassins would be legitimate threats out the door without having to give them gear. So he's got the same standard regen that all the Lodum troops have, which is 30%. He's actually got Fear, which is incredibly powerful on an assassin, and he's a Plague Carrier. Most of the Lodum, all of the Lodum units are Plague Carriers, whereas the commanders normally are not. I didn't want the commanders to get things like missing arms and drop items that were extremely valuable. So in a perfect world, I would have just given them all Plague Carrier, but I did not, to sort of accommodate that. So we're going to send our Vile Stalker out to do a little bit of scouting. And here we have a Sentient Mass. Notice this guy's a little lizard dude. We don't have a graphic for him yet, so. But he's just your lowest level commander. He really doesn't do anything but sit on the battlefield. As you can see, he has 30 hit points, lots of regen, almost no way to attack, and he's got a Crush. That's just basically runs into things. Okay, so we're going to make him our prophet. And we can take a minute to look at all the different units we have here. So we got 400 gold pieces, and we can see we got a lobotomized thrall. This guy is a lizard that is just a normal person, but he's been lobotomized and added to the Lodum army. Very low protection, almost complete inability to do damage to things. If they do surround stuff or gets fatigued enough, they will actually do significant damage, but generally they just get in the way and die. But Chaff that regens at 4 hit points a turn, and Morale 50 is pretty good. And those guys are 5 gold and 1 resources. Goombas are designed to do damage, and you can see low protection, no shields, no armor. Their attack's not quite as bad as it looks, as their attack is 12 from +4 from the injection spike, which actually does poison damage as well. And then they're also small, so they can swarm things. And then these guys are mindless as well, so they do not retreat. And you can see the Plague Carrier, and the recuperation is to deal with the fact that they all come out of battle diseased. And they regenerate, just like every other unit. And those guys are 7 gold and 2 resources. And the boomers are really cool. They're when they get hit, they do damage to the enemy. They've got a little bit higher protection, but not much. They've just got a little bit of slime protecting them. The vomit is quite interesting, and we'll see that in action here in a little bit. That is essentially a way to debuff the first round of enemies and make them actually quite hittable by dividing their defense in half. And the boomers are, they have a bite that have no arms that they use after they use up their one thing of vomit. So they're sort of intended to debuff. They're quite expensive at 28 gold, and that may come down a little bit. I might have to nerf the vomit if they come down on gold. The Clattering Chamblers, these guys are essentially units that have scavenged armor from the enemy team. So they have a protection of 8. Again, it's only body, not head. So they're still quite vulnerable, but compared to the other units, they have quite a bit of protection. Can't really hit much, but that's okay. They're mostly just supposed to get in the way. You can see all the normal things for our units. And so those guys are 10 gold and 8 resources. And we see the Herald of the Allspawn. This guy is sacred, so he can be blessed. Regenerates. He's got the normal stats for everything else that's part of Lodum. He's got a Sensor of the Allspawn's Vitae, which actually does stun damage. Stun damage, if you get enough stun damage, if your fatigue goes over 200, you can actually be killed by stun damage. So these guys will kill things with their stun damage. It just tends to take a while. They're equipped with fibrous bands, which are a little bit better than that scavenged armor. Good hit points, good morale, good magic resistance, kind of what you expect from a sacred unit. But their attack and defense aren't that great. They have a hard time killing stuff, but they definitely get in the way and can stay there for a long time. And they're also available to recruit anywhere. Smokestack's kind of interesting. It essentially, one of the few Lodum move units that's one map move. I think it's the only one right now. And it's designed to stay in the back, so you have to be kind of careful how you place this guy. Now, all your guys are immune to poison, so the poison cloud doesn't affect them. But you don't want this guy to get anywhere near the front lines. His life drain tentacles, he has a difficult time hitting with them because he's got the slow attack skill. And it just generally dies if it gets into combat. But what it does do is spread this poison cloud around, so if they're placed appropriately, they can do tons and tons of damage. And this sprite needs a little bit of work. We're going to move this one so it's more a profile view and less of a 3/4 view. And finally, the slime balls. These guys are also sacred. They generate quite a few points a turn. Think of elephants, but with less protection, and sacred. So they're quite powerful, and they do trample. They're size 6. They're expensive, and they're pretty good. So I think the most ridiculous thing you can do with these guys is give them a water blast. So I'm going to have to figure out how to balance that. That's probably the most important thing. It's not easy to get water with this nation. I don't think any of the gods, except for the blue dragon, have it naturally, and the blue dragon's not really a great choice. So I'm comfortable with the fact that the water blast is hard to get, but that's it for our unit lineup. So you have the Sentient Master, already saw that guy. The Conduit is sort of an expert commander, so he's very good at leading magic units, 120. He does shoot lightning, so he'll get a lot of electrical zap between his arms, and he'll shoot lightning out. And otherwise, he's just a normal commander with no arms. See the Shaman Betrayer. So the Shaman's Capula, I guess. We'll call it Capula. Or Capula. Let's go with Capula. That sounds good. Capula was the nation that Lodum took over from, basically, when the Allspawn came around. So these are your basic priests. They're not anything super special to write home about, but they will bless, and they do have Nature 1. So if you want to give them a bow or something, they can cast Eagle Eyes and use that. We got our Vile Stalker. We already saw this guy. He's the recruitable assassin, so he's quite powerful. Our Cultivated Brain Mass is basically a bunch of brains stuffed into a jar carried by 2 undead guys. So it actually has Mind Blast that it can use to paralyze the enemy. And it has a little bit of Astral, so you can use these guys as sinks for your Astral, for your communions. We got a Slime Dick Necromancer, so these are the necromancers that were following Kovis to help take over the Allspawn, and in the timeline of Lodum, these guys get sort of betrayed by Kovis and turned into these undead, horrible things, and they have a little bit more Astral they can get access to, and Death too, and they are undead, which is, there's not a ton of that in Lodum. Child of the Allspawn, we do not have a graphic for this guy yet. He's an expensive mage. But he has he's good nature, good death, and a little bit of water, and then he's got some great randoms. So he can, when he gets access to Astral, he can participate in one of the communions. The chances of that are a little bit better, 50%. Let's see. Yeah, that's his main definitions are his pass here, and he's also sacred. Let's make the upkeep a little bit less crazy. The crest of the Allspawn, sacred, big astral caster with a chance to get a little bit in the other path. So both these units are fine. They can cast big spells and lead communions. The Faceless Lord is sort of our out of the box, or he's a recruitable thug / super commander. So he's got great regeneration, 21 hit points per second, a lot of hit points, a little bit of protection, but we really would want to give him gear. Although he doesn't have a body slot, so you're stuck with a 6 slime. He's got 4 hand slots, which are these 4 little arm things. Unfortunately, there's no way to tie these injection spikes to the individual slots, so once you equip a piece of gear on him, you lose all these attacks. But you don't lose the bite, which is obviously this big central mouth. And he's got 3 side slots, so what I would normally expect people to do with this is probably give him 3 shields and just give him a crazy amount of defense, plus the quickness off water, you can get above 30 defense. But then he's still vulnerable to all the elemental damage. He doesn't have head slot. There's definitely disadvantages and advantages. And I find Death is a really bad buffing school, so it's just not very good for him. If you get a high Death off these randoms, so these are the randoms. If you get a high Death, that Faceless Lord is just not quite that good. So hopefully this guy will turn out to be balanced. We'll have to see. Trying to think if there's anything else to talk about with this guy. It's pretty straightforward. So that's our lineup. So we started with some Clattering Shamblers and some Goombas. So these guys are okay. We're going to want to add some Boomers, because these guys will let us debuff while we're attacking. And I'm going to throw some more Goombas in there. And let's see, we want to get our research started. These guys are too expensive. Let's actually get another Vile Stalker, and we'll use that to help sort of turbocharge our expansion. Okay, so we'll end this turn, and let's look at the magic. So I don't have any custom spells right now. I do want to add some in the future, and Dominion 4 is coming out, and they'll have custom items, so I think that'll be a great thing. I've already got some summons that I want to put in there, but I haven't decided what to do just yet. So we got a lot of Astral and Nature, and that's always great with Alteration, especially Moss Body is great with this nation. So let's go with Alteration, even though we don't have anybody researching yet. So we're going to go ahead and end the turn. Alright, nothing special happened. Just declared our profit. Okay. Militias, heavy infantry, heavy cavalry. Okay, so the number one thing that we have a problem with is heavy cavalry. They tend to be difficult to do damage to. They have a lot of damage output, and they're just really scary. So I'm going to go ahead and set this guy to assassinate on these wood pipes. That's the one we sent out the turn before. And I'm going to sneak this other guy out to Isipini, or whatever that is. Now, when you're assassinating, you assassinate and you keep doing it. Once you run into a turn where the assassinate doesn't do anything, where you don't try and assassinate a neutral guy, then you know the province has no more commanders in it. So we're going to grab our Boomers. So a pretty simple setup. We'll hold an attack on these 2 guys. Set the Goombas a little bit further back. They're more designed to do damage. And I'm going to set these guys back here and have them do a fire closest enemy. I'm actually going to split them up into 2 squads so that they kind of hit different people. And we'll just have this guy cast Smite. Now I did get that Astral 9 Bless, I'm totally not using it, but that's okay. I'm just trying to have fun right now. Alright, we're all set up and ready to go, and we'll end our turn. Alright, some action. So we tried to assassinate this druid guy. So we can see our death cloud just shot off there, and our guy's going in and cast sleep. Oh, he slept. No, not again. Ah, he woke up and killed him. 99 fatigue. So that was actually a pretty close fight there. Alright, let's see what this guy at Winter Peak does. So we see our Boomer Volley, and these guys are slimed, which makes their attack skill and defense skill drop in half. and they're also poisoned. So that can do, does a little bit of initial damage, and then it also sets them up for some high level poison. Apparently I have lion attack noises. The attack noises are the one thing I definitely have not done anything with. And it looks like they're already routed, which is great. Okay, so we'll go ahead and quit out of this one. So it did pretty well there. Only lost 2 guys. So heavy infantry, and Lodum tends to be pretty good against other infantry. Move these guys back just a little bit more. It's the only problem with fire closest. Alright, so we're going to do an assassinate. I think last turn I forgot to recruit any troops. Let's get some of these slime ball things. And we'll need somebody to bless them, so we'll get a shaman betrayer. Okay, so last turn we issued an assassination command here. And this turn we saw no assassination attempt on these guys, so I'm going to go ahead and have him attack, and he'll be able to take this province by himself. Okay, try to assassinate the mounted commander. Now we saw he was alive, so this isn't going to be too dramatic. But yep, and so he takes him out. These assassins are pretty powerful against naked indie commanders, which is kind of the point. We have a little bit of that debuff from the smite. This is pretty good troop placement. We got these guys absorbing hits, and everyone's moving in. And as you can see, Lodum has a really hard time with just doing damage in general, which is kind of how it's supposed to be. So, and they do have morale. Not everything is mindless, so you gotta keep that in mind. Alright, so they did a pretty good job there. But I am almost out of guys, but that's okay. Oh, this might be a little crazy. I'm just going to move those guys up front, let them go wild. And I'm going to change his command to do a Divine Blessing and just let him cast spells after that. So I'm going to move these guys off hold and attack. Just have them come up behind the slime balls. That'll look pretty good. We're trying to assassinate again here. Okay, so I'm not even going to look at that one, but basically because they had no commander, our assassin was able to take that province for us. So let's go ahead and we'll keep moving our assassins out. Isopene. Okay, so we tried to assassinate, or we tried to, we did our assassination attempt there, but nothing showed up, so we're going to go ahead and attack there. And Helmshire. So here we can see our guys have a Bless, which is the Twist Fate. So the first attack they take, they won't take any damage. And these guys should do a pretty good job of rolling the, yeah. So yeah, these slime balls are the thing that I worry the most about balance for. So I'll have to figure that out. Maybe I'll make them a little bit slower so they can't do quite as much damage. And we'll have to rely more on their regen and taking less damage than actually killing the enemy troops before they all die. But that is, it's like 120 apiece, so it's like 800 gold worth of units. Let's see it. I'm going to get some Herald of the Allspawns in here. Let's get some research going. Look at all the battles. Yeah. Oh, I messed up. So I was not ready to take that one with a single guy yet. Oh, and look, I lost 3 of my... So, Astral Bless is not that great, which is kind of good because this nation has such easy access to Astral. Oh, this is what happened. So, Archers are pretty bad for Lodum in general. You just tend to take so much damage from them. But here comes some more lightning, yeah. So yeah, these guys, even though they're quite good, they have such low defense they can die pretty easily and everything can hit them. So maybe they're fine. Continue to assassinate. Gonna do some more recruiting. grab some of these gooey duck smokestacks and see what we can do with them. Put some clattering shamblers in front of them. I move my guys back so they can pick up those units. And let's grab one of these conduits so we can kind of see how they perform in battle. Hoping one of the heroes shows up. Are we successfully assassinated? I'm just gonna have that guy do his thing. Let's see. Just gotta stick these guys together and put them up towards the front. And I'll have my Shaman Betrayer start researching. Some more heralds. Some more smokestacks. I'm not really trying to play super efficiently here. This is just more for fun. Alright, let's see how this battle went. So you see our gooey ducks here. It's kind of hard to see, but they've got a pretty wide AoE poison cloud. But you got to remember that they're kind of designed to be behind other troops, so you're not going to really see the sort of full. And there goes. Those slime balls are just can be very delicate, but also very powerful. And that's our conduit shooting lightning. And here we can see, it's kind of hard to see, but these guys are getting hit by the poison cloud from the smokestacks. All right. Keep researching more of these guys. A little bit better. You can see the range on the poison cloud here. It's pretty significant. I think it's might be better than the hydras. I have not checked. It's not really doing a great job here of sort of putting everything together, but you can see this guy's already hit 200 fatigue. So one of the things about these guys is that they tend to fatigue everything around them. So even though they may not kill this guy right away, because he's fatigued at 200, he's not going to be attacking them next round. So they kind of defend themselves by fatiguing everyone else around them. And they're actually super powerful against thugs and super commanders, because they just really can't do anything about fatigue. Now they don't really have great attack skill, so we're looking at an attack of 9, but once you get hit by 1, you're taking 36 damage of fatigue out of 100, so that can be a real killer. But units with really high, very high defense are not going to be affected by those guys. So my formation here is kind of a mess of dudes. See if we can't. I'm going to kind of fast forward a few turns here and see if we can't get a hero to show up. So one of the spells I want to add when Dawn 4 comes out is a spell to give me a random hero summon. Okay, so we got a Meat Factory Monstrosity. Yet another guy who does not have his graphics finished yet. So this guy's got, when he's finished, he'll have a head, a tentacle arm, and a hand arm. So we'll probably have to drop one of these fist slots. But he's just supposed to be a big guy. He's mindless, pretty powerful, a lot of hit points, a lot of regen, terrible defense, really high strength. This guy could be a great anti-thug or anti-super commander just because of his really high strength, and he's got good attack skill and all these attacks. And then also the life drain tentacle, which is I believe bonus, so you shouldn't lose that when you equip gear onto him. Yeah, so here we keep the life drain tentacle. What do we lose? We lose the fist, which makes sense. So let's see if we can't forge him some gear. Not that we really have any, but that's fine. We'll make him berserk. That seems good. Give him boots of long stride and not worry about any of this other stuff. That seems pretty good. He's still got a terrible defense skill, but his regen should go up from the... Oh, that's Lycanthrope Amulet that gives him regen and the Berserk. But whatever. Let's see how this goes. I'm gonna send him in... we'll send him in with somebody else first, just to give you a feel. And he has no magic pass, so this guy is just an attack guy. So I don't lose any commanders, so he doesn't die, but take a look. That lion sound again, I'm not sure which one. That's probably the boomers are using that one. Alright, cool. So I mean that's about what I wanted to show you. Could play a more detailed game, but don't think there's a lot more here to go for. I think I'll reboot here and add a little section where we go over the 6 heroes that are available, because I think they're super cool and I'd like to give them some airtime.
Hi, this is Giuseppe again. I just wanted to do a little Let's Play and show you some of the heroes for Lodum, because they're supposed to be a big part of it. Now, I need some way to give people access to these heroes, either individual summons or maybe something that increases luck in your capital. I'm not really 100% sure what to do yet, and I think Dom 4 will provide some mechanism for summoning from a random selection on a list. But I'm not too worried about what our stats are going to be. We're just trying to get something together here to look at the heroes. So I've made the heroes all recruitable, 0 cost. This is obviously not how the actual game works. So we got the Allspawn's Bride, Slug, and let's take a look. She's got so always come up as Slug because they came with a single name for all of them. She's got multiple attacks. A good set of slots here, Fear, Sacred, Holy 3, and she spreads the Dom, so that's pretty useful. She's got a Bile, which is, I haven't quite got this figured out yet, but it's like the Tarrasques, where it shoots a bunch of Bile out at once, so she has kind of a ranged attack that she can rely on, and then sort of enough abilities here if you want to gear her out as a combat. You know, she can do that. Hair of Lodum, this is Alexander. So let's check Alexander out. Alexander comes with a whole bunch of encumbrance, because he's decked out with black steel, which goes with his icon, and he's got his candle, which is a special weapon just for him that does a fire wave, which is a somewhat dangerous AoE attack, and then he's also got his tentacle on his back that is just an extra attack that he gets. He's got fire and cold resistance, and he gets 2 cross paths, and either one of these paths are normally, or well, the water is obviously available to load him, but the fire is not, and it's a nice cross pass to have these on the same guy. So he's supposed to give you a little magic diversification and also give you a guy that is sort of a thug out of the box. You don't really need much for him, although his heavy encumbrance makes it very difficult to use him, but with nature you've got enough nature gear to give him reinvigoration. Ixtrum is the old holy order from the nation before Lodum, Capula. He was sort of the high priest, so he's a level 5 priest, which is extremely high. He's got 2 tentacles, which are arm tentacles, and then he's got these 3 life drain tentacles that are part of his face that he can attack with that do not go away when he has weapons in his hands. Obviously got robes on, sort of normal stats, but these are high for a mage, so trying to think. He creates free spawn according to the dominion that he's in, and he free spawns sacreds. So he'll free spawn Herald of the Allspawn, and occasionally he'll even free spawn the slime balls. So that may need some adjusting, but I think it's pretty good. So let's see what else we got. We've got Last of the Biomancers. This is Felix. Felix has some cross paths that you wouldn't normally get access to, and he's also got the Earth, which you don't normally get access to. So he's, again, it lets you do a little bit of magic diversification if you can get him, and his paths are quite strong. He's just a caster, so his tentacle will go away if he's building a weapon, and that's pretty much it. He doesn't have really much going on for him besides these paths, but these are all very strong, and giving you access to Earth, this nation, I think is good. And we'll probably have some, I might add something else special to him, so he's something a little bit more than just a caster, but I haven't quite figured that out yet. And we've got Jewel, the Butcher of Women, who is wielding she actually has she auto-casts some spell, I can't remember the name of it now, but it causes a fear attack on all the enemies. She's got a Cleaver, which causes limp, it's armor piercing, and a Fetal Flail, which does a small area curse and decay, which is not amazing, but fine, and she's got an apron as she's a butcher. Fear, some crosspaths, water and death here, which is nothing amazing, but you can get Soul Drain, or Soul Vortex, and Quickness, and Ice Resistance out of the water, and Breath of Winter, so those are pretty good. High hit points, good morale, magic resistance, attack skill, and defense already, so, once you cast Quickness, she can be really good. And she's got a low encumbrance compared to Alexander, so she doesn't have those issues. Slime Dragon, this is Phoenix Trill. Has, so flying, which is something this nation doesn't really have. Stealthy, very stealthy. Also an assassin. Has left and right claw that are both have effects. One of them is a decay and heavy poison, I believe, and the other one is a paralyzing poison. And then a bite and a tail attack that are bonus, so if you give him weapons, you only lose left and right claw. I haven't got a description for him yet. He's got a little bit of protection, but not much. But his attack skill and defense skill are amazing for an assassin, so he should have easy time killing stuff. And then he's actually got enough paths here to make him a good candidate for even becoming a thug if you don't want to use him for that. They've got the Meat Factory Monstrosity. This is a multi-hero, so he does not have a unique name. And he's just a big chassis with a lot of strength that you can put just about anything on. And Life Drain Tentacle. Life Drain's always good for a thug or an SC. So, alright, let's see these guys in action. This is not normally how you would use them, and you would not normally have all 6 like this, but that's alright. So we'll just put some guys up front. Fire. I think her fire animation is a little weird right now. Gonna have Alexander attack. Extrem's gonna cast spells. And here we can see he's auto-summoned some heralds already. Felix is gonna cast spells, so that's what he does. Jewel attack. And Phoenix attack. And Mendon. Alright, so Jewel, one battle spells, she auto-casts Wailing Winds, which is a pretty good spell to have auto-cast at level 0. It causes a fear attack against the enemies. And here we see Phoenix is already up in the fight. And he really does need gear to be a thug. He's not very out of the box. And so we see this poison cloud that just came down was from one of Slug's attacks. That little acid droplet was a cloud of the poison. And Ixtrim gets access to Word of Power, and all the other Holy Five fanaticism, really quite good. That's pretty much it. And this person will always be named Jewel because I gave him special names. Phoenix is a good assassin. Those are the heroes. So I'll probably be adding something to Felix to make him just a little more interesting. But I'm pretty happy with all the rest of them. I think they have interesting, unique roles. We got I don't think we ever saw Alexander attack, which is a shame because I really like what I did with his. Yeah, there we go. And he is really can be a thug out of the box, but he can't take every type of province. So he's pretty slow from the black plate. You'll see him use his candle here in a second, and so that's his candle. It does quite a bit of AoE damage, but yeah, he fatigues himself like crazy. He's already at 18 fatigue with 2 attacks, so. And those fire blasts can also hit him, although he's got a resistance to it, and it's resisted by armor, so he generally doesn't take any damage from it, but he can. I've seen him take like 10 or 12. Alright, I don't think I have anything else really to show you about the heroes, but yeah, so let me know if you have a chance to play and you like the nation, or if you have any feedback. I'd be happy to hear it.